Hi, it's Deborah, and thank you so much for joining me again today because I am literally driven right now and super passionate about showing you what the biggest thing I ever did in my life that made the biggest changes. The changes that helped me live to my fullest every single day of my life. And I'll tell you what, for years this held me back. And it's the same thing I talked about yesterday, and it's learning how to control my emotions, learning what I allow in and what I don't. Because we've all had the situations of where you're driving down the road, you're having a fine day, you're doing whatever, and something pops into your mind. And either happened yesterday, this morning, last week, and suddenly you feel, you just feel that anger kind of welling up inside you. And so you might not think that that's a bad thing because there are many cases where anger gets you moving. It gets you going. It helps you to do whatever you need to do. Sometimes I get mad that I didn't get something done, and then, I've suffered some consequence, and the next thing you know, I'm signing up for a course or hiring a coach or, getting something done in my house that I haven't done in a long time. So I'm going to agree with you that there are times where anger, which is a normal human emotion, is good for you. It gets you moving. But for the most part, the amount of anger people feel today, emotionally, and how it switches the physiology of your entire body, and sometimes it stops you in your tracks. You're going along with your day, and this thought, whatever it may be, comes in, and it can stop you in your tracks as that anger bubbles up, or that whatever the emotion is, the anxiety or the irritation, as it bubbles up, it stops you. It takes up that space in your life. And so I was really thinking I want to do a webinar. I just want to put it out there and show as many people as possible how you can move through this, how it is really under your control. And very often we don't see it as something we control because, how do we control what thoughts come into our mind? And so until I learned that, I didn't know. But honest, you can control those things coming into your mind, and you can decide at that point what you're going to do with it. So I was thinking of something we could do very easily before that. And that is, and this is the truth, it actually works. It's a really simple thing that you can do to switch your mind a little bit. And so it's just another technique I thought I would just put out there. And I've heard it many times over the years through coaches, mentors, books, and on a couple of occasions I've tried it myself. And what it is that it's actually true that your mind cannot physically hold two opposite emotions at the same time. For example, you can't feel fear and gratitude together. You can't feel anger and gratitude together. Gratitude's very, very powerful. As an example, and I used this example a few years back, so if you've heard it before, I apologize, but my mom, who's 84, had a live-in boyfriend, and my brother and sister and I had some issues with his son, and we were trying to resolve them. And so one night I was driving in the car with my daughter, and actually she was driving, and so I called him, and I finally got a hold of him because he hadn't been taking my calls before. And he picked up, and when he figured out it was me, he immediately started screaming at me. And he started just attacking me as a person, saying things like, I know all about you, I know what you've done, I know what you do. And honestly, I don't know what those things are. But I listened, and while my daughter was driving, I thought, well, I have a witness right here. So I put my phone on speaker so she could hear the whole thing. And I just let him go. I just let him go till he got it all out. And when he got it all out, I said, if you're done, could we get to the issues? And we talked a little bit about whatever it was. But the point is, when I hung up the phone and my daughter and I talked about it a little bit, I felt like I was okay with it. It didn't really bother me, and I wasn't going to let it bother me. So later that evening, when I was trying to go to bed, and I was laying actually in bed, and it just started bubbling up inside me. And I was thinking about all these things he said, and all and how he attacked me personally, and I was really angry. And I started remembering this thought, the thought that you can't feel fear or anger and gratitude at the same time. And so this is the honest to God truth. This happened to me, and it was middle of winter. It was very cold here. We had a couple of feet of snow on the ground, and I remember thinking to myself, well, here I am in a warm bed in a warm, safe neighborhood in my home. My husband was snoring next to me, and I started just appreciating that and feeling very grateful for the things I had in my life. My daughters, one of my daughters was home. I was grateful for that. My mother, everyone in my life, and I just started going over in my mind, you know, the food on my table, everything that I was so very, very grateful for. And as I went through that in my mind, I literally could feel that fear and that anger and that anxiety kind of slipping away. And kind of before I knew it, I fell asleep. And that was just the biggest proof to me that it works and it's true. So I just wanted to give you a way, something you can do right away. And I say you have to think about it, because sometimes we're in that position and we're overwhelmed with kind of some negative emotions. You're not thinking about how I'm going to get through this. You're just kind of pissed off, right? But the best thing you can do for yourself is to shift your mind, to shift yourself to a space of power, to a space where you actually want to live. So again, your mind can't do two opposing emotions at the same time. And so if you shift to a gratitude mode and against any of those other negative things that are going on, you will start feeling that shift. You will feel the release. And in my case, you may even fall asleep. Hopefully you're not going to do that when you're driving. So I will be having a webinar on this on Monday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I will record it and send out a recording if you can't make the webinar live, which I'd love to have you. I've had a lot of interest so far. I will be putting a link out either tonight or right after this or tonight, and I really hope to see you there. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.